Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this very special video as we take a look at the worst WWE action figures for every year Mattel has been making them. We're going back to 2010. We're going to start 2010 when Mattel first started putting their figures out. We're going to look at 2011, 2012, all the way through to 2018. We're not going to focus on Rumblers or Flex Force or any of that rubbish. We're just going to focus on basics, elites, battle packs, defining moments, all the core lines, all the figures that I think most of us are most passionate about collecting. So let's get started. 2010, and let's have a look at John Morrison. John Morrison, Battle Pack Series 2. This comes with a Miz figure, and I actually like early John Morrison Elite figures, but this is just wide of the mark. It doesn't look like a finished Mattel figure. It just doesn't look quite right. I'm not sure what it is that it's missing, but it's definitely missing something. The likeness, it's not there for me. But not only that, I think you probably could hide the likeness, improve the figure, had it have got like accessories and things, but obviously this doesn't come with anything, and so this figure is just out there. I mean, literally just out there, and there's no hiding it. It looks awful. This was widely panned when it first came out. I can tell you a lot of wrestling figure forums really laying into this figure, and it's easy to see why. Next up, 2011, we have got Cena and Orton Battle Pack Series 8. 2011 wasn't the worst year for Mattel. Kind of feels like they started to work a few things out, but this Cena just doesn't do it for me. I can't tell what the expression is. It's not gritted teeth. I don't know if it's anger. I can't tell if it's frustration. I don't know what's going on. It might be why they have kind of dialed back on these kind of faces. But yeah, this was an early attempt at some kind of expression, and it really didn't work. The Orton in this looks like a Ken doll as well. Again, doesn't look like a Mattel figure. I know we're going back like 9 years, but I just think as a set, this is not great. And honestly, you can get much better Cenas, much better Ortons. There's better ways of getting these superstars. I do want to give a shout as well to the John Cena Survivor Series Heritage figure. That gets a lot of hate online. A lot of people feel that this looks like a Jax figure rather than a Mattel figure. I think really the theme with these early figures, these bad early figures, is it still feels like Mattel are trying to find their own identity. Some of them do feel like Jax figures. 2012 though, wow, this is a real bad figure. I would say this probably beats everything we've seen so far, and it's Hunico. Hunico, basic 23. This is bad because the skin tone isn't quite right. He always had like a bandana which never came with the figure, even if it was actually attached to the figure and it wasn't a separate accessory. It felt like it needed that. Obviously the ring attire is very bland. The face scan just is off as well. There's a lot about this that attracts criticism. Yeah, as a result, this is widely regarded as one of the worst early figures. I say one of the worst early figures because in 2013 we might actually get to the worst early Mattel figure, Rosa Mendes. Rosa Mendes, basic 31. We have spoke about this figure before, but I have to give a shout out to Glenn Webb. Glenn Webb on YouTube, sadly no longer with us, but his channel is incredible. Check it out. I was doing research for this video, and he actually told me a fact via that video that I never knew. And that is that when this prototype was shown, Mattel issued a statement. I will put the statement down in the description for you to have a read. It's quite interesting. But the gist is, Mattel basically said they know that the head isn't right. They know that it's too thin. They did request that it get updated. Sadly, there isn't enough time to do that. They could either pull the figure, actually take it out of the line, or release it, but in a smaller quantity. So they decide to release it, but in a smaller quantity. It's being released in a smaller quantity because they know it's flawed. They know it doesn't reach the expectation that they've set for basic figures. How incredible is that? Mattel actually saying, we know this is rubbish, we're still going to put it out, we're only going to put out a few for those of you that really want it, and, you know, hopefully we do better next time. There's no way that cannot feature as a result. As I said, I will put that statement in the description below. 2014, not a bad year, similar to 2011. I've gone with the Daniel Bryan Elite here, and the reason I've gone for the Daniel Bryan Elite is because this was obviously at an elite price point, so you expect more. The face scan, I believe, was used previous, and it is, in my opinion, the worst Daniel Bryan head. I don't think there's a great deal of detail in the ring attire. It feels like there was probably other figures in this series that took up the budget, and so this was put out just so there was a Daniel Bryan in the line, but there's no innovation here. There's no emotion in the face. There's no new head, new facial expression. I don't rate that head. I don't like that beard sculpt. I'm not a fan of that ring attire. It comes with a fan sign, which has got to be the worst accessory because you can easily make that yourself at home. So I hate fan signs. Does come, the only redeeming feature is it comes with a belt, but you can get that belt with other figures. There was no need for this figure. This is a pointless figure, but it's a bad figure as well. So that's why Daniel Bryan Elite, I think it was 28, makes it onto this list. 2015, this is one of the all-time worst figures. This featured in Grimm's Toy Show and Tommy Toy Travel's worst of 2015 lists. This is Dean Ambrose signature series, and the reason this is one of the worst is look at that hair. The hair is horrendous. The face scan, the facial expression, it's just horrible. It's even too small. Amazingly, this is actually connected to one of the figures that we've already mentioned, Hunico from 2012, and this figure have the same body. The same body. They actually used the Hunico body to make this Dean Ambrose. They took a bad figure to make another bad figure. It doesn't make any sense. As I said, as a result, this meant that the Dean figure was too short. It's not good. I would honestly avoid this one. Next up, we've had Dean Ambrose, so we might as well have his wife. 2016, Renee Young, yes! Look at these two together again. Absolutely brilliant. They can have both of their bad figures on the mantelpiece at home together. How nice is that? But Renee Young, a lot of criticism for this. Personally, I think the figure is okay. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10, something like that. I did mention in my review that the head scan was bad, but I also said that it's not as bad when you see it in person, but it's still bad. And if you look at the images here, she does look like the Joker. There's no two ways about it. Like, her mouth just seems too wide, and like the facial expression, I don't know if it's her eyes, but yeah, she seems a little crazed. So they really got the head wrong on this one. Overall, not a great year, 2016. Lana as well also comes in for a lot of criticism. A lot of people feel that it looks like a man cosplaying as Lana, which I suppose I can see. But yeah, I don't think the Lana is as bad as the Renee Young. I feel like the Renee Young is worse, which is why I've gone for that here. 2017, this could be the worst figure ever. Legit. We've looked at a lot of bad stuff, including one that Mattel have even admitted is awful. But 2017, Rhino Elite Series 50. This figure is out of proportion. It's got a horrible face scan. The beard, like, it's just like paint that's been splodged on. It's horrible. Apparently the story behind this was it was meant to come with a cloth t-shirt, and apparently when you put that cloth t-shirt on, it looks right. Like when you can only see the lower arms and everything rather than the whole body, it works, but it didn't come with a cloth t-shirt. So all you've got is this out of proportion figure that just looks completely wrong. I can tell you that whenever there is worst Mattel figure lists, this is the one that tends to be towards the top. That brings us to 2018, and the figure that I said was the worst of last year was the Builder figure, Shawn Michaels. This is Commissioner Shawn, and honestly, if you're going to buy 4 figures so that you can build a 5th figure, that 5th figure better be something very special. This absolutely was not. It was awful. I mean, like, there's nothing special here. That's just a very generic suited body with a Shawn Michaels head. And I really did not rate it in the slightest. But if you don't think that counts because it wasn't a standalone release, then Kevin Owens, Basic 84. Kevin Owens has had some really bad figures. I would say some of the worst face scans have been Kevin Owens ones. Things like his first basic figure, which was really, really bad as well. But this one is right up there. Very, very similar. They really did struggle with Kevin Owens' heads, but they have drastically improved recently with the True Effects technology. We saw a big step forward with Elite Series 61, but you can see on screen right now, compare that Elite to this basic. It is night and day, and that's why this basic, for me, was one of the worst figures of 2018. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know there's loads of other bad figures out there. Pretty much if you look at forums and what people have said on the internet, basically every figure someone's got a problem with. So I know a lot of people in the comments are going to be shouting out random figures. I've tried to go for the ones that are universally agreed upon as being bad. Certainly Rosa Mendes gets a special mention for having the company that made her agree it was bad as well. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already, because we have got loads of WWE Mattel action figure videos on the way. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.